to how I'm sounding. What's going on? Good morning. Peace to all the members. Peace to everybody in the chat, the genuine supporters, the subscribers, people watching from behind the scenes, everybody who catch this on the replay. It's your host / DJ Holla. What's going on, y'all? Now, something came across my timeline, and I said, I have to cover this. But here, let me just play a quick clip, and then let's see, which one is it? Is it this one?
It genuinely gives zero about your guys' feelings, and I will come on here and say all the uncomfortable truths that everybody knows is true, but absolutely nobody will talk about. Black people are the most racist individuals that there is in 2025. As a white person, I certainly can't go to a black community and feel safe. But when they come to white communities, it's like they're in Disneyland. I used to be an addict, so every time I'd go down to Newark, I would have to make sure I was strapped. I don't think they have to feel the same way about going out in a white community. Matter of fact, they can come here and say whatever they want. They can call me white boy this, white boy that, white whatever the and I'm just simply not going to comply with the double standard. I genuinely do not.
Alrighty then. Now, he said a lot in there. He said he used to go to the, black neighborhoods. He was an addict, and he had to carry a weapon, a firearm to go to a black neighborhood to purchase illegal drugs. I don't know where they find these people on social media, but hey, this is where we at. Henny is in the building. Kenzo, what's going on, my brother? Ming is in the building. Good morning, Jessica. If y'all want to join the members only, y'all hit that link pinned to the top of the chat. Appreciate y'all. DMW is in the building. So yeah, man. I don't understand. I don't understand this whole thing. Now, people, I heard this is not the first time I heard this. Sexy J, salute. What's going on? It's not the first time I heard that black people are the most racist people in America. Now, Sexy J, appreciate you. Salute. Now, I don't understand, how black people could be the most racist people. That it don't make no sense. Kel, salute. Appreciate you, Jessica. Appreciate you. Now, who created racism? Like, who invented the concept of racism? Like, that's something that we was taught. We didn't come up with this concept. We didn't create this. This is something that we was taught. So how could we be the most racist people in America? That don't make no sense. But I don't blame this kid. He don't know no better. Kels, appreciate you, Kels. Bobby Johnson in the building. This young kid, he don't know no better. Now he said, he feels threatened when he comes to black neighborhoods, but if black people go to white neighborhoods, we feel safe and all that. Now listen, let me tell y'all a secret. Now in black neighborhoods, especially bad neighborhoods, you got to worry about the cops and the robbers. Like, you got to worry about the law and the criminals. Now, in a white neighborhood, you still got to worry about the law. A black man in a white neighborhood, that's, you could get pulled over, stop and frisk. It can happen anywhere, the black neighborhood and the white neighborhood. But like I said, man, this young kid, if you listen to him, he said he used to be an addict. So if he was so scared of black people, right? If black people were so racist and you were so scared that you had to carry a firearm Why are you in a black drug infested neighborhood? Why are you going to this neighborhood to buy drugs? But that's not the worst part about it. The worst part about it is not, white people, salute people who's not black, even people who's not FBA sometimes, I give them the benefit of the doubt. They don't understand the history of this country. You know what I'm saying? But people like FBA, black people, Negro descendants from this country who be co-signing all of this rhetoric is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It genuinely gives zero about your guys' feelings, and I will come on here and say all the uncomfortable truths that everybody knows is true, but absolutely nobody will talk about. Black people are the most racist individuals that there is in 2025. As a white person, I certainly can't go to a black community and feel safe. But when they come to white communities, it's like they're in Disneyland. I used to be an addict, so every time I go down to Newark, I would have to make sure I was strapped. I don't think they have to feel the same way about going out in a white community. Matter of fact, they can come here and say whatever they want. They can call me white boy this, white boy that, white whatever the and I'm just simply not going to comply with the double standard. I genuinely do not care one bit about your guys' feelings, and I'll tell you the truth. And the truth is, in 2025, white kids are being raised to be accepting individuals, and it's not the other way around, and everybody knows that.
He's absolutely right.
Now, you seen this dude at the end. Now, this is my serious page, so I'm not going to, go too crazy. I try my best not to, but come on, brother. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Frankie Blanco, salute. Now, we not only raised to respect white people, we are raised to fear. Now, regular white people, this is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the system is in favor of the white people. We know this. Like, this is not a secret. It's not a secret. But for black people, I don't know where that guy is from. I don't know if he's FBA. I don't know where is he from. But if he is FBA, that was some coonish behavior right there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's trying to appeal to his white audience and stuff like that. I understand, it's entertainment and things of that nature. But when it comes to certain things, when you have somebody, of the same skin tone co-signing that, that's crazy. There's a history in this country that, people tend to ignore. Now, you say black people is the most racist people in this country. Could you blame them? I mean, could you blame them? I'm not saying it's true, but they have if they may be racist. Like, what's the reason? What's white people's reason? Have they been lynched, burnt, enslaved? Have they babies been used as alligator bait?
Neither one of us is saying that racism doesn't still exist. We know it still exists.
Yes.
Especially against white people, if you really want to get into it. The policies that they're impacting to basically disadvantage people literally because of the color of their skin. Sorry, you're not black, so we don't want you at the school, even though you have a remarkable record. I mean, that is literally an institutionalized racism, is what they're doing to Asian Americans at Harvard. Sorry, you're too smart, and you happen to be Asian, and we want black people.
They never addressed the primary problems of black folk. Our primary problem was not social integration or civil rights. The primary problem is you never corrected the legacies and burdens of slavery.
Now, people got this reverse racism thing and all of that. Now these policies was put into place because of segregation, discrimination, and racism and things of that nature. Now they calling it reverse racism because they said we should all be treated equal, right? So why should we get special privileges? But this has only been happening for like 50 years, probably 50, 60 years. You know, y'all got special privileges for 200, 300 years. Y'all complaining already? It's unfair. The system is unfair. This ain't been happening that long. Y'all crying and complaining already? It ain't even been 100 years. Y'all say we've been slaves for 100 years. And y'all complaining like, I don't understand it. And I don't understand how, you know, black people co-sign that. Bucks, what's going on, my brother? I don't know. But you know, you gotta realize and recognize, you know, all the policies and stuff that was put into place, you know, to discriminate and hold us back. Like now you talk about everybody's equal. The 14th Amendment was made for Negroes, for FBAs, for black people, right? And we supposed to be treated equal. But after the 14th Amendment, they had segregation, Jim Crow, redlining. So they violated our 14th Amendment rights to this day.
It genuinely gives zero about your guys' feelings, and I will come on here and say all the uncomfortable truths that everybody knows is true, but absolutely nobody will talk about. Black people are the
Now, I don't know, you know, everybody knows it's true. I don't know how other people think, you know. Maybe he's talking about his own people. I don't know, you know. But that's not for me to figure out. All I can do is worry about, you know, my people.
I don't understand, or I don't know the definition of systematic racism. So I'm going to ask you to define it for me. What is systematic racism?
Systemic racism is when you have practices, policies, and legislation that are structured in a way that disproportionately impacts black people. Do you want me to give you some examples of policy or legislation?
I want you to give me an example.
Your president pushed the First Step Act. The First Step Act is acknowledging the systemic racism in terms of policing, acknowledging that black people are disproportionately impacted by policing and the systemic racism specifically. And your president is trying to, what, push the First Step Act to make it what? It's get reversed.
Black folks, for instance, know that modern policing traces directly to slave patrols. That's the first iteration of policing in this country, right? And there's a bright line relationship between that and what came next. Cops were the ones who enforced the slave laws. Cops were the ones who enforced segregation. Cops were the ones who collaborated with riots in black neighborhoods, burning them to the ground in the 20s and 30s.
For you to say that systemic racism does not exist on one end and then say the Platinum Plus is good on the other end, it's a contradiction. The Platinum Plus plan is acknowledging the systemic racism in terms of the economic system. So when you say, what can I do as a black man that white folks can do? Obviously, get a damn loan. That's the reason why the Platinum Plus plan is giving the incentive to give black people loan.
Now, what he basically is saying is people are saying that systemic racism doesn't exist. But if it didn't exist, these policies wouldn't be put in place. These policies are created to fight against systemic racism. So by putting these policies in place, the government is acknowledging that it does exist. But people are trying to say, oh, it don't exist. Racism, it don't exist no more and all that type of. Frankie Blanco, salute, appreciate you, my brother. Big business in America. Yeah, that's the world of capitalism, black exploitation. That is a fact. I mean, this country was built off of black exploitation and discrimination. If you look at the entertainment industry, Hollywood, you got blackface. You know, you got the minstrel shows. If you look at trade, you know, the biggest trade was the slave trade. Like, you know, if you look at labor, you know, the first labor laborers, free labor, was slave labor. If you look at the inventions, the light bulb, the telephone, social media, the internet, video game, stuff like, if you look at, the refrigerator, the elevator, we contributed a lot to not only America, but the whole world. If you look at the civil rights movement, that was for civil rights, not for black rights. That was for everyone to be treated equal, because we was fighting because they was violating our 14th Amendment rights. But when we were segregated, we was doing very well. We was prospering 15 to 20 years after slavery. We had our own doctors, lawyers, schools, churches, politicians, economy. And then what happened was the immigrants, the white immigrants, came in and, they was racist. So, they start, attacking, black communities and towns and stuff like that. And, the police and the government, they was mixed in with the Ku Klux Klan, which is a terrorist organization. And they help, immigrants oppress their own citizens, which was Black Americans, Negroes. So a lot of people talk about, the immigrants coming in now, they messing up the country, America, we need to stay together, So it's a whole different history for us. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's different. And if you don't understand it, and when you speak on it, you're going to sound like a fool. Cali, salute. Tiara is in the building. Trooper, what's going on, my brother? Pilato. So, a lot of people speak on, black issues in general, or, even, FBA or, Negro issues, but they don't research. They don't, it's just popular to speak on, like I said, man, it's people capitalize off of us, from the beginning, so even on social media is a hot topic, it's trends. But as I said, man, I only can speak to my own people. Anybody else, like I said, may be ignorant to the history and what happened to my people in this country. But people who was from here, this is you embarrassing, like you dishonoring your ancestors, your elders. For what? I don't know. Trying to fit in, I don't know. You're trying to get the bag, I don't know. But at the end of the day, if you have children and they have children and they children's children, we don't check this now, we're going to go right back to where we began. So like I said, it's different for us. A lot of people, say, oh, why y'all treated get special treatment? It's not special treatment. It's just that we got treated so bad that now, So as I said, man, listen, and I know atrocities happen to people in their countries and all of that, and I feel for them. You feel what I'm saying? But atrocities happen to us in this country right here. So if your government, wasn't against you, your government didn't discriminate against you, your government didn't feed, use your babies as alligator bait and lynched and hung and burned and, y'all can Google this stuff. It's pictures of it. You know what I'm saying? People always talk about all this other stuff that's been going on in the world, these atrocities, and it's pictures of it. And, you know, segregation and Jim Crow and all of that, that wasn't that long ago. See, people act like this was ancient times that these things happened. It's pictures of it. It's pictures. This didn't happen back in medieval times. This didn't happen back in ancient times. This is the most recent. It's pictures. My mama was alive during, you know, Jim Crow and all of this type of stuff. Matter of fact, that's how we got to New York. We got to New York because, you know, my mama one day got tired of the, you know, the little boy next door calling her the N-word, and she socked him. As she put it, she socked him in the mouth. Pause. And she had to leave. A little girl had to leave her home. Yeah, so you know, things like that.
Give zero about your guys' feelings, and I will come on here and say all the uncomfortable truths that everybody knows is true, but absolutely nobody will talk about. Black people are the most racist individuals that there is in 2025. As a white person, I certainly can't go to a black community and feel safe. But when they come to white communities, it's like they're in Disneyland. I used to be an addict, so every time I'd go down to Newark, I would have to make sure I was strapped. I don't think they have to feel the same way about going out in a white community. Matter of fact, they can come here and say whatever they want. They can call me white boy this, white boy that, white whatever the and I'm just simply not going to comply with the double standard. I genuinely do not care one bit about your guys' feelings, and I'll tell you the truth. And the truth is, in 2025, white kids are being raised to be accepting individuals, and it's not the other way around, and everybody knows that.
He's absolutely right.
Neither one of us is saying that racism doesn't still exist. We know it still exists.
Yes.
Especially against white people, if you really want to get into it. The policies that they're impacting to basically disadvantage people literally because of the color of their skin. Sorry, you're not black, so we don't want you at the school, even though you have a remarkable record. I mean, that is literally an institutionalized racism, is what they're doing to Asian Americans at Harvard. Sorry, you're too smart, and you happen to be Asian, and we want black people.
They never addressed the primary problems of black folk. Our primary problem was not social integration or civil rights. The primary problem is you never corrected the legacies and burdens of slavery.
Now, man, and now, you know, I did a live talking about, you know, some dude, he trying to make all white towns and all that. That's ridiculous. Like, the audacity, like, you know, but, you know, now people, you know, people believe we the most racist people, but listen, let me tell you something, man. You know, all praises to the Most High, I found my faith. But I used to be a certain type of way because, you know, I have to watch movies. I have to go to school. I have to go through life hearing that I'm lesser than, I come from slaves, you know, we monkeys and all types of degrading, you know, we can't even, you know, now, you know, the N word, everybody want to use it, you know, with the A is with the A, you know what I'm saying? There's all types of things, man. I'm called African. I don't know. I've never been to Africa. Africans looking down on you know, you're not from Africa. You don't know where you from. You know, you don't got no culture, blah, 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 blah. Like, I seen my people march in peace. You know, they, you know, did it, you know, how do you want people to feel after all of that? And it still goes on to this day, and people still is mad disrespectful. It's a wonder that we ain't more racist. But anyway, I'm gonna drop the call line if anybody wanna hit the call line. Lenard, what's going on, my brother? How you doing, Miss Tiara? Yeah, man. Give me one moment. Give me one moment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna drop the call line. I'll be right back. All right, we back. I was just thinking too. Remember though, I remember I was a kid. Remember you used to watch those old movies when like the slave. Yeah, master. Yeah, how they how they used to act and all that. Like I used to really believe that this is how But then I started learning that George Washington Carver, about all of these Negroes who was inventing things and but like Roots, yes, the master, yes, going down the road, sir. Like all that, rhetoric. Like how you like me, I'm very prideful. All praise to the Most High. I learned to humble myself, but I'm very prideful when I see stuff like that, and then I gotta run